that really, I mean, you were ahead of this in your film room breakdown, but now it's really making its waves everywhere now that everyone's digested the first preseason game. Olu Fashanu is good already, like really
I
good.
mean, yeah,
And
it's crazy.
We're already getting he's working at right tackle. They're not going. That's light.
They can't
Tetris.
help themselves.
They can't help themselves. They
can't help themselves.
I mean, the problem is that it's not a problem. If either Morgan Moses or Tyron Smith misses a second, you have to put Fashanu out there before Max Mitchell or Carter Warren, who's now even behind Max Mitchell, it seems, in the depth chart. So this is smart because if Morgan Moses, God forbid, something happens, you're putting Fashanu in the lineup. It's not Max Mitchell or somebody else. The real Tetris move is that do they consider moving like Moses to guard just to get Fashanu out there? I don't think they're going to do this. And I don't think they're going to play Fashanu at guard, nor should they. It's just, he's really good. And he's going to end up playing at some point this year in some capacity. How and when that develops, I don't know. It's also just good that they seemingly probably nailed that pick a little early, but early signs are good.
It's looking
it's looking good.
It's scary to say it's got Sauce vibes because Sauce was just in a unique place for any corner at his age, but it has the same vibes as Sauce where everybody got out there and they looked at him and went, "Yep." They hear him speak and they go, "Yep." And then he played one game and everyone was like, "Yep." So it's got that vibe to it where you're like, something's got to go wrong, right? And then nothing ever really goes wrong because the kid's just so smart, talented, and physically gifted.
Yeah, I love with that first Sauce training camp where he was just great every practice. And there was always, this rookie had a tough day. Rookies always have to. It was every day. It was just like the best player in the field. And
still
to this
day, people need him to get beat on a 12-yard out for a viral clip. That's how good he is.
We're still talking about that random Giants receiver who ran by him on a ball that was thrown out of bounds in the preseason.
Yeah, Jalen Hyatt got a step on him, and the ball went out of bounds, and everybody was like, wow, Sauce got on this play.
It's insane. So, generally, it's been a good camp. The offense in particular has held up well. Rodgers seems like Rodgers, very much in control. Garrett with the focal point of the passing offense. We've seen Conklin, I feel like, get involved a little more. Kind of went under the radar a little bit, but Ruckert's been out for a bit and seems like he's going to be out a little longer. Probably part of why they brought in Anthony Ferkser, who has experience in the role that I think they want Ruckert to play at a veteran level. Not the most exciting part of the offense, but they had a big role, I am sure, carved out for Ruckert. Ferkser could be a Band-Aid for that. It's not great that Ruckert's missing camp, right? He's a guy you would like to get out there, like getting some reps because they're going to be moving him around the formation. It's a pretty unique role. That makes that signing make a little more sense. It makes you feel a little better because he could Band-Aid it for a week or two.
They like that really flex fullback tight end. That's what they like.
I mean, here's kind of a question that ties to Ruckert. What is going to be their base personnel group this year? When we look at like the snap count and breakdown, what formation or personnel group are they going to be in the most in the early weeks of the season?
Well, every single team now always, like even the teams that don't want to, every team in the modern era lives in 11 personnel, right?
Yep.
So that's always going to be like the black and white answer is 11 personnel because that's just what every team does in this era. But there are wide ranges. There's been years where I've studied this a little bit. The McVay tree, and McVay's even toned this down a little bit, but like you'll see Kevin O'Connell and McVay could be all the way up to 92% of the time. They're just trotting three guys out there. And then you could see another team might be 67, 66% of the time. So for the Jets, I actually think the Jets could be on the lower end out of everyone. Like they are a team that I think you'll see a lot of 12 personnel, honestly. In theory, now what does that 12 personnel necessarily look like, right? Is that a little bit like you're going to flex Conklin off the line of scrimmage? Is Ruckert healthy? Is Ruckert going to get some backfield looks that you could see some 21 personnel? And, quick rundown, a reminder for everyone, your personnel packages always go by how many running backs, how many tight ends. So the reason 11 is so popular, one running back, one tight end means 3 wide receivers. So 3 wide receiver sets are the most prevalent, most used. Why I think the Jets, this goes back to why I always say playing heavier. What I mean by that is either more backs or more tight ends. And for, understanding like a 6th offensive lineman counts as a tight end. So that would be a 12 or 13 personnel look as well. I think the Jets will lean on those packages because it's why I'm obsessed, and we haven't seen it yet, and we would never see this until the regular season because you'd never want to show this hand. I'm obsessed with the idea of even 21 or 22 personnel that involves Braylon Allen and Breece Hall.
Because Braylon Allen, bring it back.
Braylon Allen is honestly bigger than most fullbacks in the NFL today.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Braylon Allen is going to be a lead blocker, but the usage in terms of keeping him in, whether that's for pass pro or checking to a run downhill, an inside zone run, or any kind of man scheme run, and Breece's ability to flex out or stay in, or there's so much misdirection you can use. They did this one time last year with Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall effectively. I think it was against the Bills, I want to say. I think it was the away game against the Bills. And the misdirection it was a great call. And then classic, like something works and then you never see it again. But I am obsessed with this idea. And I think it helps the Jets play a little heavier. So Conklin's going to be on the field all the time. Breece is going to be on the field a ton. I think Allen is finding his way and forcing his way on the field. The question is, who are the three receivers? And in the perfect world, eventually that's Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, and then this giant question that we're all looking around is Lazard going to bounce back to being a mediocre number 3? Is Gibson a mediocre number 3? Brownlee's got hot. Like Brownlee caught the touchdown in the preseason game. He's looked good with Tyrod this week, apparently. Is there a world where Brownlee and Mike Williams are on the outside in some looks and Garrett Wilson's in the slot? I don't want to see that if I'm the opposition.
It's a lot of size to deal with.
It's a lot of size, and here's the problem, Joe. In theory, you need to put your big corners on Williams and Brownlee, so then your smaller corner has to deal with Garrett Wilson. This is the matchup game right, and then then a linebacker has to run with Breece. The Jets, I know everybody's a little down on the receiver room right now, and admittedly, we're not acting like it's amazing either, but the Jets have unique athletes on offense that can create interesting matchup problems within 11 personnel and outside of 11 personnel.
Agreed. And one play that I think that flew under the radar in the preseason game was got called back. It was in the first drive, actually, where Tyrod got flushed on third down and ripped one to Braylon Allen, who
it's like 100 mile an hour throw.
Catch along the sideline, looked like a tight end. And if he could catch the football like that, we already know Breece could catch the football well. Man, that's dangerous and hard to deal with. You get those two guys out there and they can catch checkdowns and drift down the field a little bit. You feel a little better about some of the questions at receiver. And I think the third slot, it's going to be sort of a mix between Gibson, Lazard, and Corley, unless Brownlee really comes on strong here. But they're also very different players where there's going to be personnel groups where can Brownlee have a certain package, particularly as you get closer to the red zone where he's out there. And then when Corley's in, it's a little bit more of a diverse package because he's motioning into the backfield and you're giving him some handoffs and doing certain things you wouldn't do with a Lazard, who I feel like after the super fast start is kind of like leveled out a little bit. Although to be fair to him, he was in, preseason bubble wrap like 30 of the other players. And
should he be
this weekend? Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I'm curious what they do this weekend. I kind of have a feeling they're going to do a similar approach where almost all of those same guys are going to be in bubble wrap again. Yeah. I don't see them pressing it. I think they're going extra cautious. You saw that with Rodgers not playing when it was raining out. I just don't see this staff taking any real risk, especially against Carolina in the preseason. Last year's preseason game against Carolina was a blast. I think the Jets had like 111 sacks in that game, and that was a fun film room after.
McDonald was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Jermaine was phenomenal.
It was a good one.
You want to see a bloodbath in this one. Carolina did some good things this offseason. You'd like to see them. This is where, it feels like they did this against Washington in the joint practice from what I saw. When you're just a superior talented team in the NFL going up against a team that is a little younger, you want to just kind of show them from a physicality standpoint who you are.
Exactly. We have to go with some overs with Peasley and Martinez and then some unders on Carolina with that Jets defense. We're putting in our underdog bet, which is a good reminder. Sign up with promo code Badlands. We have 3 spots left in our $25 best ball draft. I think it's the last one we're going to do before the season. We might do one MLB or NHL one if they let CR pop one through, but that'll be it because then we're going to be into higher lowers in our picks of the week every week. So 3 spots left. Go grab it now. I'll link it in the bio. Also, when Connor was talking personnel groups. I got to find the video and I'll link it somewhere. There's a great is probably the wrong adjective. There's an old YouTube video of Connor and I when we were much younger doing X's and O's on a whiteboard in the Whistle Sports green room in like 2013 that I will find and link. It's literally just us talking through like personnel sets and like 4 verticals.
That probably goes in the Discord. Eyes for the Discord.
That's a Discord, yeah. That's a Discord. We'll be in there. All right. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm going to drop this tonight. So it's a late Tuesday night drop. War Room will hit the feed tomorrow morning. First thing, we're going to record that now. And we'll be back. There'll be a very exciting new show announcement hitting Thursday. Buck the Trend Friday. And I believe Will and myself reacting to the game Saturday as CR's wedding. And he's already probably rightfully in enough trouble for having to interrupt his move.
Rare day afternoon wedding. I've never been to one in my life. I'm excited for this. But I feel like by the time that's over, assuming there's no after party, I'm not sure. This is my wife's side of things. And we are traveling a little bit for it. I think it would be a little tough. I'm going to watch the game. I will be in.
If there's an emergency, we'll call you in. Hopefully,
you can call me. I will not be at my setup. I will. I don't know if I'll be in a state to to pod. Maybe I'll react on. Well, I will do a film room again, of course, on hopefully Sunday, whenever I get back from this. But I'm very curious how this is going to go.
It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks as we take it into the regular season. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will talk to you soon.